Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Welcome
sir.
back. Yes. So let me present this screen. So I have created a small database file for the today's class discussion. I want all of you to have a copy of this with you because as and when we take the output for various constructs of awk, you should be able to understand how the output is getting generated. So probably next 2-3 minutes, I want you to copy this text file. There are 4 fields. First field is serial number 1 to 10. Second field, I've just given some name AAA, BBB, CCC for so that we can easily understand and remember them. And I have given some subject names in the third column, and the fourth column is some marks the students would have obtained. So please copy this quickly with you. So probably as we discuss the output, since we will be getting different outputs for different constructs as we see for today's class, probably can understand how this output is getting generated. Maybe in couple of 2 minutes, probably you can copy this small text file. Meanwhile, let me have the attendance. Anaga?
Yes,
Abhilash?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Abhilash, yes, sir.
Yes. Akhil?
Yes, sir.
Akrut? Anusha?
Yes, sir.
Arvind?
Present, sir.
Arifullah?
Yes, sir.
Benkraj? Bhanuprakash?
Yes, sir.
Bhargav? Rahmatullah?
Present, sir.
Chaitra?
Present, sir.
Chandana?
Present, sir.
Charan?
Yes, sir.
Darshan?
Present, sir.
Diksha?
Present, sir.
Dakshayani?
Present, sir.
Kishan?
Present, sir.
Harshit?
Yes, sir.
Hemalata?
Yes, sir.
Kumar?
Present, sir.
Jayant?
Present, sir.
Divya?
Yes, sir.
Kaushik?
Present, sir.
Lakshmi?
Present, sir.
Lavanya?
Present, sir.
Manish?
Present, sir.
Manoj?
Yes, sir.
Mohit?
Yes, sir.
Naval?
Yes, sir.
Navya?
Yes, sir.
Nikhil?
Present, sir.
Panindra?
Present, sir.
Pavan?
Present, sir.
Pooja?
Present, sir.
Purnima?
Present, sir.
Raman?
Yes, sir.
Rashmi?
Yes, sir.
Rupak? Sai Kumar?
Yes, sir.
Samir?
Present, sir.
Santosh?
Present, sir.
Shadab?
Present, sir.
Sharon?
Present, sir.
Shashank?
Yes, sir.
Sheetal?
Present, sir.
Shivani?
Yes, sir.
Someshri?
Present, sir.
Purti?
Present, sir.
Vishnu?
Present, sir.
Sugandhini?
Present, sir.
Sushma?
Present, sir.
Sushmita BS?
Present, sir.
Sushmita U?
Present.
Tirtha?
Present, sir.
Shruti,
Present, sir.
Varsha,
Present, sir.
Lina. Fine. Hope you are copied now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, done. So let me come back to the prompt now. So let us take some of the comments that we have taken in the previous class and let us see how the constructs of awk will be able to help us. We have worked on some of the variables in the previous class. So let me just take some of those comments. Yes. So this is the student file what we have. Now I have given maths as the string. If you look at this particular construct, we have given maths. So maths as the pattern we have given. So this pattern, as we know, always patterns are given with a slashes. So there are different ways of giving patterns, but this is one way what we are doing. And even all SED, your GREP, ARC, all these filters are going to use patterns of this category. So 2 slashes, what we have kept here around maths is going to inform the system that it is a pattern. So what is output we are expected from this now? This is a selection criteria. From each line of the file, that is a student.txt, we want the line which is matching with the pattern maths. Okay, so whichever is there in the maths, business maths, and those stuff will be shown now. That is output what we are getting. So right, so wherever maths is matching, it may be business maths, it may be commercial maths, it may be discrete maths, it may be simple maths, whatever you write, that wherever the maths as a pattern is matching, that will be displayed, that we know. Okay, next I'll give something called science, which is pretty same. So wherever science is there, maybe social science, physical science, all those stuff is getting shown. Now I will modify this. I will give only SCI. So SCI is one pattern I am giving now. So wherever SCI is matching, that is going to be printing. So I will give SOC. Let us see whichever is coming under SOC is going to be printed. So SOC we have only social and social science. Like that, whatever the pattern we are going to supply, accordingly the data will be shown from the ARC perspective. What we have seen now. I've just taken a different file today, nothing else, right? So now let us observe how these things are going to be helpful when we use the various built-in variables that we have seen in the previous class. We have taken some built-in variables in the previous class. Can anyone recall and let me know what are the built-in variables we have seen? We have discussed some built-in variables in the previous class.
Fade separator, sir.
Okay, FS. Next.
NR.
NR, perfect.
OFS.
OFS.
NF.
NF.
Yes, sir. File name.
File name, perfect.
ARGC. ARGB.
ARGC, ARGB, perfect. So we have second FS, OFS, NR, FS, file name, where we want to know the name of the file, and followed by ARGC and ARGB. This is very important from exam perspective. Okay. So let me take a small ARC command using these things now. Let us see how the data is going to be shown to us. So I've taken NF now. What NF stands now? Number of fields, right? So how many fields we have now?
4.
4. I don't know whether you have observed or not. If you look at the file, So this is the file. I've just given one tab here. If you see, there is a tab here, right? If you see here, there is also a tab. Okay, so tabs are given. Okay, so here you can observe between this and this there are change in the tab. This is one tab, two tabs, three tabs. Whereas here it is only one tab and two tabs. So there is small difference here. Probably your output also might be small change here. That means 1 to 7 are equally distanced, whereas 8 to 9 have a different pattern of distancing. Where I have used 3 tabs here only 2 tabs. Okay, let us see what distance what change it is going to make now. Okay, so first let us write AWK hyphen F, or field separator is space. Then we need to provide the selection criteria. The selection criteria what I am looking now here is FS. Let us say, what is my FS? FS is equal to space right now, or tab. So what is a tab mean? Tab is a /t. So I am using this now, tab. What I want to print now? I want to print entire line. So I will give entire line to be printed. So from which file? stud.txt. So what we have written is now same awk script, -f for the field separator. I mean, I'm using a fields in this. And what is a delimiter? It is nothing but space or a tab. Then what is the criteria? Wherever fs field separator is equal to tab, I want to print. So in every case, we have a field separator as tab, and we will be able to print that. 1 second. Yes. So this is what we have used now. So all 1 to 10, all the lines have been printed because field separator we have used is either a space or a tab, right? That's what we have got now. Okay. Now, next, I will use NR. What is NR? Line number. NR is equal to 2. From line number 2, I want to print something from line number 2 to say line number 6. So NR 2 to 6. Let me have that NR point. So line number 2. Six. Yes. So what I have written is, initially we want the selection criteria to be line number 2 to 6, that is B to F. So output should be from B to F. So only line numbers if you want, accordingly those lines will be printed. That is for the NR. Okay. Now let us look at, let us say FS is done. Let us say NF, that is number of fields. Okay. So how many number of fields are there now? One, two, three, 4, right? 4 fields we have. Any doubts on that? How many fields?
4 fields.
4 fields. Now I'll give NF is equal to 4. So if NF is equal to 4, I have to print something. So the result is now we need to get how many data are available when NF is equal to 4 is what we are interested now. But our output is something weird here, right? So what I've given now, I've used some different operator now. When number of fields is not equal to 4, print something. Okay. So how many fields we have now? There are 4 fields. How the field separator is taken now? Field separator is normally a white space or a tab. So in this case, it has taken a tab as a continuous spaces, and we are getting so many fields here now. Okay, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 is actual field. The number of fields NF is going to talk about how many number of fields we have here, right? So let us take this as another criteria. If NF is less than or equal to 4, we have how many fields we have now? 4 fields. Is it less than or equal to 4? Yes. But how the print is not coming? That's simply because the number of fields is taken extra, because the tabs at some places are more than 1, more than 2, more than 3. So there is a confusion for the system. So we should be careful while using spaces, because a tab is nothing but a group of spaces. When you say group of spaces, it can be more than one field. So there is some confusion when we use tab as a delimiter. That is the reason why whenever a file is created, normally people use a delimiter, say maybe the pipe or a hyphen or a stuff like that. So when you're using white space or a tab, we need to be careful, especially when this particular variable NF, because NF is assuming here a single space as a delimiter, and in a tab there will be multiple spaces, and everywhere we have given more than at least 2 to 3 tabs. So probably it might be taking more than one space as a delimiter. So that is the confusion what NF is containing. So what is advised here is, whenever you supply a file for the awk script, we should use a single space, always better, or better to use a special character as a delimiter. If you do that, probably everywhere you will get a proper output. But in the current case, we have used a tab. Tab is nothing but a group of characters. Thereby, especially NF is considering this as a special case, and thereby it is not giving proper result. So what is advised here is, we need to be careful when you are using a NF. So how to modify this? Probably we can go back to our stud.txt. Instead of giving so many spaces, we should be giving only a small pipe or a small star or a hyphen or only single space as a delimiter. Then probably this particular NF, especially the NF variable, might take the result properly. That's what the caution we would like to have. Otherwise, all these variables like FS, OFS, NF, file name, NR, argc, argv, they're all applicable for both the scripts as well as the commands that we are going to use. That's what the identification we have to keep in mind. So this is just a continuation to the previous class, how to make use of the various variables with us, right? So next, let us get into the next topic, which is a logical and relational operators, right? Any doubts so far? Yes, fine. If you don't have any doubts, probably let us get into the relational and logical operators. Okay, so let me show that screen. The relational operators points are there with us. For a quick reference, which I've already used so far, but just for our understanding. So this is the logical and relation operators that we have been using in any programming language, and more so with respect to awk as well. So we have a logical operators, which are your and, or, not. So double up ampersand, double pipe, and a negation character, that is the exclamatory one, which we use as far as the not is concerned. All your logic gates, what we have seen in digital electronics, they are going to be part of your logical operators, where AND, capital AND, capital R, and capital not, they correspond to 2 double ampersand, 2 pipes, or negation operator respectively. Similarly, coming to the mathematical type of operators, where we use relationship identification, we have an equal operator, which is going to for assignment, less than, greater than, and double equal to check whether this particular variable is equal to a given value, or less than or equal to, greater than equal to, not equal to. All these which you have used in any language like C or C++, they're all applicable in awk as well. After all, awk is invented by one of the a designer of a C language, and all those constructs have been considered here as well. So these constructs we can use in our own program. I think we have already shown how these programs can be written. If you observe that, this is how we can write a small example. Let us apply this as well to our own program, what you have taken right now, our own file. Okay, so equal to operator. When I want to check whether a particular field is equal to a particular value, or a particular field is equal to some particular value less than or equal to, all those I can use. Okay, so here it is used as equal to operator, and also here we have used a logical operator. Both relational as well as logical operators have been combined in this case. So let us apply to our own program, our own file, what we have just now with respect to the stud.txt. So let me close this and come back to the. So again, to recapitulate, our gedit stud.txt contains 4 columns which has some data of a student, right? Now, so column 1 is a serial number, column 2 is a name, column 3 is a subject, and column 4 is what we have as a marks. Now, let us first, let us go one by one. Okay, now I am using one operator. Look at here. I have given 2 conditions. One is if $3 is equal to maths, I want to extract the selection criteria here is I want to extract something where third field is the maths and the value of fourth field is greater than or equal to 65. Okay, so if that is the case, I would like to combine two fields here with a AND operator. So what is output we expect from this now? As far as the percent, you have the file right with you. Is it correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
Yeah.
Greater than 67. Okay. Correct, sir.
So both maths should be true, and fourth field, the marks also should be greater than or equal to, greater than 65. I will slightly modify now. So what is output you will be getting now? Just compare now. So there is a student with maths, but marks 65 as well as 67. Anything greater than 65 is what I am trying to print. So this is output for me. So let me use something like this now. Negation operator. Okay, so what is output you will be expecting from this now? Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there should be maths. At the same time, the fourth field should not be equal to 65. So like that, we can start using. So let me use OR operator now. So look at this. So what is the output you are expecting from this now? One line is missing. 7th line is not displayed as output. What is the 7th line? Can anybody help me?
Science.
Only pure science.
Science. Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the marks?
Lesser than 65.
Marks is.
Lesser than 65.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is the reason why that particular 7th line is missing, because either or, it should be either maths or the mark should be either greater than or equal to 65. Okay, so depending upon what context we want, you want to club 2 conditions or you want to display only either this or that, we can use this. That's how the relational or this type of logical operators can be used. So that is the concept what we have right now with us. Okay, so next. So let us get into the other one. So let me come back to our notes. Okay. So now number processing in awk. So what you have seen so far is how logical or relational operators can be used. Now we are looking at how to process the numbers. So heading is new for you, but we have already used this in our programming as far as the awk program is concerned. So the concept of number processing is this like. So you have a script or we have a command of awk, but in the printf, so far we have used a print now. In the printf, how to process this? That means can I apply this plus, minus, multiplication, division, arithmetic operators? That's the concept of a how to process the numbers. We have used already this in the 11B probably. While basic salary is 10,000, how to compute whether gross salary or net salary, the same process we have used here as well, how to compute within the printf statement itself. That is, we are applying $6 into 0.5, $6 into 0.25. Like that, we are going to calculate the values as and when you start printing. So you need not calculate first, then apply here. You can use them as you want to print. This is a concept called as a number processing. That is, we have a number in each dollar, each position parameter, and you want to process that. Basic salary 10,000 into DA is 50%. How to calculate? Basic salary into 0.5. If HRA is 20%, how to calculate? Basic salary into HRA. The same concept we have used here. That means as and when you want, we can start applying multiplication, addition, subtraction, division, remainder, all those things we can use. So let us have a small program for this as well from the text file what we have with us right now. Okay, so let's see the prompt. Now, AWK -F space our delimiter, then criteria, single quote. Be careful here, it's single quote. If for $3 is equal to maths, so let me take science this time. Science, what we have to do? Printf. Printf. I want to give some grace marks, let us say. Printf. Okay. 4D. Percentage 4D. So 4 digits. So that is original mark. Then I will add maybe 6D, which is a new mark. Okay. Now, so what is the original mark? It is a $4, comma $4 plus 10 marks I want to give. So I will close this. So from which file? stud.txt. So what is the effect of this now? Look for the file stud.txt. Wherever, okay, that is double equal, small correction here. You are checking the condition, $3 is equal to, that is 2 equals, equal to science. If it is equal to science, since science is a string, I will put it in double quotes so that we can avoid confusion. So $3, if it is equal to science, then I'm using printf now. So far we have used print, now we are using a printf because I want to format the print and use my calculative documents called numbering processing here. So I have a $4. $4 is probably some marks we have. Now I want to add some grace marks for this. Let us see what is output we should be getting here now. So some issue. Okay. Six printf %d comma $4 plus $10 is correct. It's true. Any reason why this is not coming now? $3 is equal to signs. Perfect. It's a printf. Yes. Okay. Just check what could be the reason. Did I miss any character?
Sir, field separator.
You have given no? -F.
A space between the quotes.
Yes. So let me give /n to avoid confusion. So this is the. So I have 65 marks for maths. Now I have added 10. It is becoming 75. So I want to have this arithmetic operation. So let me say I want to multiply with 10. So let me see how these things see. I can perform multiplication. Okay. So like that I can perform add. I can do more than one. I want to perform, then plus. I want to add $4 plus 10. So I'm multiplying at some extent and I'm also adding. So let us see what happens here. So values keep on changing, right? So this is how I can perform the number processing in the ARC also. So directly we can start using. We did not calculate, then use it here. As we print or as we process, we can use this. That's the concept behind the number processing. The idea here is how to use the operators called plus, minus, multiplication and division stuff. So just to demonstrate this, this is how we have looked at now. Okay. So let me come back to any doubts on this?
No, sir.
Yeah. Just whatever you have used in C, C++, we're just using ARC, but you should know how to use with respect to ARC. That's it. Otherwise, it's pretty same. Okay. Now let us. So this is about the number. Next. Variables. How to declare variables? I don't know if you have observed, you need not declare variables then use in ARC. Normally in C, C++ or any other language of C, Pascal, COBOL, first we have to define int a. Then I can say a is equal to 10. But in ARC, or maybe to some extent in the new languages what we see today, they are not asking us to define first, then use. We can start using them as and when we want. Probably you might have observed that in the programs as well. We have written book, we have written B, we have written line, we have written text. Wherever we have written, we never declared those variables in advance. We started using them. For B in a book, that's what we have written. So what is B there? B is a variable. Book is a variable. We have not defined them earlier. We started using them. So variables get declared as and when we start using them. That's what we have to see here. So that is the concept of a variable in Unix. Otherwise, the concepts related to variables are pretty same as we do in any other language. The simplicity is given in ARC. You can start using them as and when you want. All other things will be applicable as they're applicable to any other language. For example, we have a shorthand operators, we have prefix operators, we have a postfix operators. All those things are available in this as well. This ARC as well, right? So that's the concept what we have with respect to ARC number processing. So I can use count is equal to 1, and simply I can assign a variable a is equal to 10 or b is equal to 20, count plus plus, pre-increment, post-increment, all those things can be performed with respect to awk when it comes to variables. Pretty same, but only advantage better than C++ is you need not declare them. You can start using them as and when we start using the variables get declared by default themselves. That's what the concept we have with respect to variables here. Okay, so probably we can start using variables as and when we get to know them. So we can start using them, and thereby those variables will get available to the user and we can start using them. So let us see if possible, can we have some variables being declared? 1 second. Yes. So we can declare a count, let us say, when you want to give serial number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the output, you can format, no, right, through using printf. Every line you want to say 1, 1 plus 2, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 1, 4. You want to display the line number. So probably we can use serial number 1 that we have already used in one of the program, SLNO++. What is SLNO++ stands for? Serial number we have given ++. So becomes 0, becomes 1, becomes 2. By default, it will be initialized to 0 and later it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And variables also can be either numbers or can be strings as well. Both the variables are possible. Even you can have a floating type of variable, because if I say a is equal to 4.0, automatically a becomes a float variable. If I say a is equal to 10, automatically a becomes an integer variable. If I say a is equal to within double quotes MCA, so a becomes a string type of data. So like that, depending upon the what type of data we have given, the shape or type of the data variable will be accordingly considered at a switch. That's the beauty what we have with respect to awk variables. So that's the concept what we have with respect to variables, and whatever the programs we have used, probably we can recall any of them and start using them. This is basically behind what we have with respect to awk as far as the command is concerned. Okay, so now we'll move to the awk, the second concept where awk can be used as a program. Awk can be used as a script. So when you go to the script, we need to have certain constructs or certain formats. When it comes to the command, there is simple structure. What is the simple structure? AWK, any options if we have, followed by selection criteria and action. So selection criteria and action will be kept in single quotes. Be careful, do not keep in double quotes, single quotes, and action part is always kept in the braces, followed by the file name, the input file on which we are going to act. And what you have to remember here is, whenever there is an awk question in the exam or awk program, first define your input file. Keep the input file. That's what we have done today's class. What we did in the beginning, we just created input file and we started using the same input file for our various examples. You also, better you create an input file of whatever the number of fields you want or whatever the data you want, and start using the same input file when you write some examples. That is always clear for the examiner and clear to you as well. So we cannot assume something. It is always better to have a proper input file. Maybe like we have saying student name, student USN, marks obtained, or the pass or fail. Some 3-4 fields will help you. That will be giving a better information to you as well as the examiner. So suggestion here is, whenever there is a program in awk, because your module 5 is 50% is based on awk, so there will be some questions on awk as well. So better to create a small input file and start demonstrating whatever is being asked in the question. Now coming back to the awk program and awk script, and we know that awk command, when you're using, it is simply AWK followed by options and the selection criteria and action and followed by the file name. When you want the same thing to be converted into a script, same thing we did for shell as well. We used to write some commands. Later we grouped those commands and made a shell script. Similarly, we have written an awk command so far. Now we have a possibility of combining these awk constructs into a script or a program. So thereby we should be having a proper distinction to the shell. Otherwise shell will get confused. So thereby, whenever you are writing a file or a script for an awk program, it is always required to inform the shell that whether you are dealing with a command or you are dealing with a script. To differentiate that, we have a small -f. Don't get confused with the -f what you have used just now. That -f, which is a capital, is an option for telling the system that I'm using a field delimiter or a separator in the form of what we have. But what we are talking now is small -f, which informs the system that, look, this is not a command now, it is a file. Meaning that whatever awk takes, that selection criteria and action, all those stuff is not supplied right in the command, but it is supplied through a file. So that is the concept with which we are going to inform by writing the -f. So first difference what you have to observe here is, whenever you are writing a awk script, the command to execute that script should be -f, which is a small -f. This -f stands that whatever you have on the right hand side of -f, which is an input awk script, is going to be the one which is going to contain some commands which we normally would have written otherwise on the prompt. So that is the concept of a -f. So first one is awk script, which has to be renamed with the awk as a file name. Second, whenever you want to execute, you have to execute with the same command awk, but we have to give -f as a option only to inform that it is not a command, it is a file from which we are going to consider the data that is required to execute the script. So that is the first one. Second, so what is a construct? So like any language, we have a proper method or a proper way of representing the programming. Even we have in awk as well, because it is also can be considered as one of the programming construct or programming language. The construct here is, it contains begin and end sections. There are three sections what you can say in an awk script. One is a begin section, other one is a awk body, third one is a end section. So three sections we can consider in a awk program or a awk script. One begins with the begin with the begin as a keyword, and ends with another section by end as a keyword. In between what you write is going to be put in the braces form, which is going to talk about what are the actual awk constructs that we are going to use as part of this program or as part of the awk script. So three sections each awk program contains: begin section, awk command section or a body section, third one is a end section. So let us see how each section looks. You already seen that as a part of program, but let us understand formally now. So begin is the one which is having the keyword begin, and immediately you should write the open brace. So open brace should be immediately after this. If you remember, we have written if in the case of a shell script, if after next line we wrote then, somewhere we wrote else, right? Like that we used to write one after the other. But in the case of awk, be careful. Once you write a begin, you should write the immediately the opening brace. If you write this opening brace in the next line, probably it becomes an error, or awk will not be working as expected. So this is important. Begin and single open brace will be in the same line. They should not be separated. Okay. So begin is a keyword. Opening brace is the one which is going to identify this is a begin section. Followed by, you can write something. So what can be written here in the begin? What you want to execute. Remember what you want to execute before the actual code of awk is going to be executed. So whatever, like a header of a Word document, you want to do something prior to the execution of your shell script, you can do this. You can write some messages, or you want to do some housekeeping work type of, let us say this is the data, A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. All those basic initialization work you can do, which you want to expect or you want to do before actual program is executed. So if that is the case, we can use the begin. So if you remember, begin keyword begin capital followed by open brace in the same line. Next line you can write whatever you want, and the last single line we have a closing brace. This is how the begin is constituted in awk program. So what to remember here is the keyword followed by brace should be in the same line, and the last line of this is a brace, closing brace, that completes the begin section. Why we are going to use this? Begin, as the name says, is going to contain some data whichever you want to use before actual execution of the program takes place. All those stuff we can keep it here. So it will be executed once. Next, what you see is kept in the two braces, that is the middle section, which we call it as a actual awk program. So here you write whatever you want. We have discussed it so far. Just now we have declared a variable count is equal to 1. Look, we have not defined count anywhere. I've straight away used it here, right? So since it is a 1, count will become a integer. If I have written count is equal to ABC, count would have become a string. If I have written count is equal to 4.3, count would have become a float. So it is internally or implicitly changing to the whatever the data type that is resembling the data that is being assigned. But nowhere we have defined early, we started using it now. And I am just printing the statement. This might be an example for your variable as well. So count plus plus, as we discussed just now, we can use all those constructs, count plus plus, plus plus count, count minus minus, minus minus count, all those things are pretty same. So this is a construct which is a middle part of the awk program, which constitutes the actual awk construct, like a valid awk code. Once that is done, the last section is a end. It is also pretty same as the begin, but only thing is it begins with the word END. Otherwise, END followed by brace should be in the same line. Next, followed by that, whatever you want to execute at the end of the program, you can write, and followed by a single line closing brace. Similar to the begin, all the rules hold good. Only thing is the name is different. Instead of begin, we have a end. And instead of executing at the beginning, we're executing at the end. So that is the only difference between begin and end. This is how the awk program construct looks like, right? So any doubts here?
No, sir.
Yeah, this you have already used now. Probably you should be able to understand pretty same, right? So that is the concept what you have seen with respect to awk structure. Now probably we can conclude today by discussing arrays, what we have used in awk. Okay, so the array concept is very important from awk perspective. Normally arrays are declared as a one-dimensional, two-dimensional, but irrespective of the dimension, we have integers. Normally 99.9% integers are used by default as far as the indexing is concerned, right? If you want, you can use strings as well, but that is not by default. Whereas in awk uses a special category of arrays called as a associative arrays. All your arrays need not be numbers, it can be string also. You can use numbers, no doubt, but you are also having the flexibility to use any string as your data, which is part of your indexing. So thereby, a special case of arrays in awk will take in the form of a associative arrays, and thereby we call them as a key value pair. All the associative arrays in awk are called as a key value pairs. What do you mean by key value pair? I don't know whether you know the concept of a map reduce. Anybody heard about map reduce? It's very important. Data science, map reduce algorithms. Any of you?
No, sir.
At least heard about map reduce?
Yes, sir, under big data.
Correct, perfect. So map reduce is an algorithm which is mainly used to understand, because we know in big data, the data is very voluminous and we don't know. For example, somebody might have used COVID as a one phrase in a last 1 year, let us say. I want to know in Karnataka, how many have used the word COVID in last 1 month? Or how many have used a vaccination as a word in last 1 month? Or you might have seen that in Google, how many have searched for a particular word in the last 10 days. So like this, the data is coming too much, but how do you understand which name is searched for a long time or which name is frequently checked by who is a celebrity, and all those things you want to know. It is not easy to identify sitting manually, right? So we have an algorithm called a map reduce algorithm, which identifies through a key value pair. So that means if Amitabh Bachchan is searched in a given 1 week time by 1,000 times, how do we count now? So what it will do now, it will take Amitabh Bachchan as a name followed by count. That is called as a key and value pair. What is the key? Amitabh Bachchan is the key. What is the value? How many times he was searched? So that tag is going to be kept in the system, and finally if you look at the tag, you can make out how many times a particular person has been searched or how many times a particular keyword has been searched. So that's how the MapReduce is going to come. Why I'm bringing here is that works based on a concept called as a key value pair. Same context, we have arrays also in Arc, which are, we call them as a associative arrays, which are completely based on key value pair. So normally array elements will take indexing as numbers, but if you want, you can use a string. When you use strings, it takes the form of an associative array. When it takes in value like numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, it is called as a normal array. That's the difference between array and associative array, what we have in Arc or any other language. Okay, so here it is based on a key value pair as far as associative array is concerned. Second difference, what you have seen in the lab as well, when you use numbers, it is unique. 0, 1, 2, 3 means it is unique indexing. But when you use a string, there is a possibility that same string might appear again and again and again. If that is the case, the duplication is possible when you use the associative array, whereas duplication is not possible when you use a numbers. These are the two differences what we can keep in mind when it comes to the concept of a array and associative array. But associative array has its own place, and that's what we have seen in the programming as well. So this is a small example to demonstrate how arrays can be used. So here, don't worry about the loop and all, just understand how array is declared here. So far, there was no total here. If you observe, this is a program, begin program. This is actually the one what we are going to use as far as the middle section is concerned. Here, nowhere total is appearing. Suddenly it comes total. What is the meaning of this now? This is an array because we have used the subscript indexing here, which is going to be used here. So as I start using, this will be getting defined. So I'm telling informally that this is an array. How? By declaring like this. I'm not declaring before then using, I'm starting using it as and when I want. So thereby two things are being done here. It is declared and also it is being used. So this is how I'm going to use this now. So for 5 people, I'm going to calculate this. Okay. This is how the concept of a array can be. Now important here is not an array because arrays we are familiar, but associative array, as I said earlier. So it is based on a key value pair. So we have a key and value. That's what we see here. So associative arrays are based on a key and a value. What is a key? Key is nothing but a string indexing value that is associated with us. If you take the example of a book, I think probably 10B or 11A we have taken. Computer science 15 books, electrical 20 books, mechanical 40 books, again computer science 20 books. So computer science is a key, books is a value. Okay, that's the concept of a associative array, key value pairs, what we are talking here. Okay, the important here is the indexing is not a number, but it is a string. That's what we have to see. And the same example I have taken here, whichever I've used in the lab. So we want to know how many books. So books $1 is equal to books $1 plus $2. So $1 is one thing, but my input file. What is input file? The names of the subjects. Second file is, second field is the number of books what I have. So $1 is the first field. $2 is the second field. I am just counting how many books are there. I'm for the similar, for example, I have a electrical here as well. So 2 times it has come, but my count will be only 1. So that's how it is. This is a for loop what I have taken. So since we are discussing here, I would like to bring your attention here. So we have seen 2 varieties of for loops here. I don't know if you observe here. This is one variety of for loop, right? For I is equal to 1, I is less than or equal to 5, I plus plus. Pretty same as your C or C plus plus. So Arc uses same kind of for loop, and Arc also uses another for loop. So this for loop is basically for associative arrays. So this another for loop is there for B in books. This is totally different kind of for loop what you have seen here. What you have seen so far is a normal for loop that is also valid, and this is another for loop what we have in the Arc. We can use another for that is for B in books. Here also observe B is not defined so far. B is just used here. So it means I'm just like if you remember for I in $, we have used in our shell script. Similar to that, we have a for loop here for B in books. So we have 2 varieties of for loops available in Arc. So this is how the associative arrays can be considered. So probably we can continue with the other concepts in the next class. But today, what you have seen is how to use the relation or logical operators that we have, or how to process the numbers using your plus, minus, multiplication, division, etc. And what are the various ways of looking at a program of a shell using your awk, using begin and end section. This is what we have discussed today. In addition to that, we had also had an idea on how an awk array or associative array look like. So with this, probably we can conclude for the day. Probably we'll join for the next class with the other activities or other concepts of a awk. So any doubts so far?
No, sir.
Yes. So probably if you're done, we can close this. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
My attendance was not registered.